How did you handle coming out to, let's just start with the children.
Okay.
And this is, in our case, it wasn't just one moment, it was 12 years, but
It's true.
how did you handle, at the various stages, coming out to the children?
So I remember coming out to Anna. She was the first child we sat down and had a talk with. And it was really painful. She cried, and I knew from her personality that she really valued structure and stability, and that she was probably, 12 or 13? She was in that time of life where, you want to give that to a 12 or 13-year-old. You want to give that to a teen as a parent as much as you can. And so it was a very painful thing to do. And I remember we kept it basic. I don't remember a lot of detail. I don't remember it being forceful, like trying to have her be convinced or, kind of change her behavior or do anything different herself. But I feel like it was a mini death for her on a lot of levels. And it was really hard as a parent to sort of feel like you were taking away a bit of their childlike innocence and just sort of kind of, I don't know, naivety.
Any other descriptions of how we came out to our kids?
I would say many, many, many conversations over years. Constant connecting over it. Constant having them look inside themselves, having them trying to figure out what they thought, what they believed, what they wanted for their lives, what they needed at that time of life. Did they need to go? Did they need the affiliation? What they felt. A lot of anxiety arose around them, around death, around meaning, around identity, who they were, and
community, friends. And
community being a huge thing here in Logan, Utah. And so it's, what can I say? It's a huge process of that requires continual attention and connection. And well worth it.
Worth it? Why?
And well worth it.
Was there something good about that process of opening up to the kids? What were the benefits of that?
The benefits of that were moving, and I could talk about this later too, but moving from that conditional to unconditional love. It meant that on some level what we were saying is, hey, this is where mom and dad are. We're going to try some things because we think it'll be good for us. And you can do the things that kind of make sense to you too. And to me, it showed this great restructuring of wherever you are, you're loved. Wherever you stand, you have a place at our table, and we'll respect you and we'll love you, right? And that's a real switch. And up to that point, my children had been the types of kids that would ask the "would you love me if" questions, where I felt like they were seeing where the reaches of my love extend. So when we took the sabbatical from church, for Anna it was, well, what if I got married in the temple? Well, what if I, Clara, just different children would ask different, what if I'm gay? What if I committed a crime and was put in prison? It's just like, how far will your love go? And the answer is, love is never off the table. You have our love. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to do things, to please us. There isn't some formula you have to follow. You just have it. You're worthy of it because you breathe and because, you're ours. Not in an ownership way, but because we're each other's people. And that's what it means to be a family. And I just think that was a really important part. And to go back again, it's when their voices became their own. All of a sudden, they weren't on this trajectory, on this path and formula. It was, guess what? And that's scary for a teenager because you're trying to figure out all sorts of things. But at the same time, it was, what do you think? What do you want? You know, how are your friends? How does it feel? How do you, how do you make sense of suffering in the world? What do you think about God? Does God allow it? Does God, can God control that? These are all really, really large issues. And I feel like we kind of woke up their little voices inside too.
So for us, coming out was a process, a year-long process, and one of the main benefits of it was it seems like it's almost like lowering us to be more their peers instead of the authoritative figures telling them what to do, and then encouraging them to discover what was important to them and to be able to have the joy of watching them figure things out for themselves. Is that right?
The idea is that you move from this empty vessel, our kids are empty vessels, to you are filled with goodness. You came with it. You want to do good. You are moral by nature. You want to do good. Our kids do. They want to do good. They want to. So our role is to support them in making those decisions and seeing things they may not see, in valuing experiences, in talking things through and connecting with them. That is our role now. Instead of trying to control their life and decide what their life will be and tell them what their life should look like, it's what do you want? What makes you happy? Where's your place in the sun? What brings you alive? And how can we incorporate that into your life? So a lot of switches, and it wasn't over a year. We began that when Anna was 12 or 13, and I believe her process, was still a process up till the excommunication.
So many years.
Many years.